Welcome to the live stream event with Sofia Lovag. Sofia, welcome.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for inviting me today.
Hey, it's so great to have you today. And also, too, it's so great to see your first release from your new EP, Dopamine. What an amazing song. It's doing very well on the streaming services. It's doing the music video is doing very awesome on YouTube. and you're doing such an awesome job promoting it. Late last night, I saw you on Instagram. How late were you on Instagram last night promoting your?
Oh, I think I fell asleep like 11 p.m. People were very active on last night live on Instagram, and I was very happy about that.
Yeah, the reception's been real positive. Have you been overwhelmed with the responses that you've been getting from all your fans and new fans?
I don't think overwhelmed. Since it's starting, I think I still have like this, like good and positive feeling about it. Like I'm very hyped to connect with people, because it's like I get to see like the one-on-one here in Panama. I have people following me, and sometimes I see them on the shows, and so it's great to connect with people one-on-one. So I think I like this connection now.
Yeah, and a lot some people do know the history of your family and myself, and I've known you from a very young girl, and now as a young adult, and you were always very musical, playing different instruments. I remember the time where you were amazing on ukulele, and your vocals are just amazing. And a couple trips when I was in Panama, I had the opportunity to see you perform and just sing, and it's just been amazing to see you rise through your young adult and now into adult, and then being able to really put out music and really help inspire people. So the first question I want to ask you, Sophia, is could you talk about your genesis, your history, your passion of how your musical journey started from a young girl to a young adult?
Well, I think I have always liked music. I have my parents tell me that I've been like singing and like performing at home since I was like 3 or 4. And so I started music classes back then. And so I studied from like 3 to 4 years old to like 15, 16 when the pandemic hit. And that was the moment where everything stopped for everyone. So I had to quit classes, and I didn't really like this virtual classes kind of thing. So I just that actually gave me like the little push I needed to start working professionally on it, because I had been songwriting for a couple years. I think I started songwriting when I was about 10, 11 years old, and that kind of became my safe place, to say it like that. I really like that because I can like really express myself. I get this space to like really talk about myself in a disconnected manner, so it doesn't hit me that much. And well, I started songwriting a lot more on the lockdown on 2020, and that's when Dopamine came to be like a song. And this was the first song I wrote, thinking, having in mind this kind of project, like a very professional project. Because if you checked out back then, I had this song with a friend. We did it at home, and I used like my headphones microphone. And of course, it wasn't professional. But then with Dopamine, I got to in a studio with an actual producer, and it was amazing.
Oh, that's a great story, and a story that I like to share. Your parents and your whole family and your parents were attending a conference in New Orleans back in 2018, and it was in a January timeframe. And New Orleans in the United States had received a kind of a deep freeze, and pipes were bursting throughout the city. And there was a water shortage, if you remember, at a lot of the hotels in the downtown area of New Orleans. And you had pulled out in the middle of the lobby because people were trying to get bottled water. People were really cranky and upset because they couldn't take showers or use the bathroom. And you pulled out your ukulele and you just started singing in the lobby. And I was amazed because a lot of people thought you were hired by the hotel to come in to calm everybody, but you just did it to kind of change the situation. So that's the type of person that I have grown to, you've grown, and I know you as, is that it doesn't matter how bad the world is around you, like you said, with the pandemic and everything like that. You just take music and you really bring joy to everyone's hearts and souls. And so with Dopamine, you wrote Dopamine. So I seen the music video. It's really great. The song is awesome. what was the inspiration? What's the message behind dopamine?
Okay, this is where it goes. Like it has, um, how can I say this? Like it stopped being Sophia writing about stuff that happened in her life, like superficial stuff, to a point where I started writing about like deeper stuff, like more real life raw things. And with this song, um, that's what I thought back in the time, that this was a great song to start this kind of project, like a professional project, because it was not a love song. It was not like, let's say, a cheesy love song. It was more. It was a deeper, darker thing, and this was in a period frame of my life where I was 16 and I met someone who had like trouble with addiction at some point of their life, and I got the inspiration from that. Like I was at home. I just like recently had a conversation with that person, and it's like a very real life thing, because it's not like I don't want to live in a fantasy world. Like I'm an 18-year-old, but I know that not everything's like rose out there. And well, at this time I thought about, well, I haven't seen so much representation of this in the media. And if you've heard, there's this show called Euphoria,
Yes.
that's very famous, and it represents it a lot. Like the main character, it's a drug addict, but that's like, it came after that. But at the time where I wrote it, I hadn't seen so many things that talked about this topic. Well, I talked with this person, and he told me like his experience, and he told me that it was like he went to a party and stuff, and like, and that's where what the song tries to portray. It tries to portray the story beginning to end, on how a person gets to see this one and gets addicted, and then these abstinent things happens. And well, of course the song tells the story about, it says, it was a summer evening, I had this bummer feeling when I saw you. And it talks about this first encounter where you know you shouldn't be doing things. And I know that's something everyone has experienced, not in drugs specifically, but I know everyone has had this at least the first time trying alcohol or something like that. People is always like, should I really be doing this? I'm not sure if I should really be doing this. This is not a good thing for me. And of course, since I know this is a very like delicate topic, a delicate topic, and I didn't want to talk about it in like such a bad way. I didn't want the song to be like super negative. I wrote about this from in a POV where I'm like, I'm someone who's falling in love with someone really bad for me, and I thought that what that would be way more like people could take it in a lot better than if I were saying like, no, this is a song about cocaine addiction or something like that. Like it needed to be people friendly in order to be a good song.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is to it can be interpreted so many different ways, and in positive ways, and that's so critically important in today's times. For everyone who's watching the live stream, feel free to put anything into chat, ask Sophia questions. And Sophia, why don't we go ahead and do this? Why don't we go ahead and play the music video right now for Dopamine?
Yeah, awesome, awesome.
Great. Hold on.
It was a summer evening. We did a thing or two. Had this bummer feeling when I saw you. I never planned this whole thing, but then I fell for you. Oh, you always hurt me, but I still need you. 'Cause every time I take you in, you drag me down. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave. I don't know where I stand. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave. I don't know where I stand. drag me down. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave, I don't know where I stand. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave, I don't know where I stand. 'Cause every time I get to forget you, you come every Sunday and fuck with my head. 'Cause every time I get to forget you, you come every Sunday and fuck with my head. 'Cause every time I take you in, you drag me down. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave, I don't know where I stand. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave, I don't know where I stand. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave, I don't know where I stand. No, yeah.
Awesome. Well, there we go. I got you back. So Jose has a great question. What was the creative process behind the cover art of the song?
Okay. Um. Okay. I wanted to portray. I went to the photo shoot session for for Dopamine's cover art, and well, I had this idea of like portraying this because I want Sofia Lovag to be for people an empowered figure, just because I think that's what people need. I have seen a lot of songwriters and just people in general in music or in the industry in general, not just music, who are just very negative for people. I think there's a lot of songs that are very negative, and I want to portray this like empowered person who tells you, I struggle with this too, but I'm beating it. And I think that's exactly what I wanted to portray, and I think I got it. And I told this story on yesterday's live stream. um I got my mom to go around all the city with me, all the city, every single store, because I wanted to find this flowered red corset. And of course, we had no idea. I had no idea. I just told my mom I want this because I think this has to be the most powerful thing I can wear. And we went everywhere, and it was like 7 p.m. and everything here, like the stores mostly, because bars and stuff are open after, but it was like 7 p.m. and it was just very late. And I went to the last store, and my mom was like, this is the last one we're gonna check today, and tomorrow there's no chance, because the photo shoot was at like 9, 10 a.m. and it was very early, so malls were closed and stuff. And at last store, I found it and I was so happy. And when we went to the photo shoot, the photographer was also very nice, and that helped me a lot. Like, I like to work a lot with him, just because he has this positive energy throughout all the photo shoot, and that makes you feel great. And well, on the time where I had the photos back, already like edited, like the background and stuff, I worked on this one specifically because not just my body language is very open, but I think it looks like very sure of myself. And I really like that. And it's like I think it's a powerful thing. And of course, I wanted to portray the red color, because red does not only mean like danger, but I think I'm empowering that danger in the cover art, and I think that's great. I really like working with the color red on the cover art. So yeah. And well, the person who did it is a designer who's called, on Instagram you can find him, it's called The Life of Pita. And yeah,
Uh,
he's great, he's amazing.
just the symbolism of it, and it really kind of pops out there. So let's talk a little bit about your music style. Your music style, I pick up some rock in there. There's some of that indie vibe as well. So you're taking different types of. I probably say you have three different types of music that you're kind of combining to kind of get that sound, and then obviously the messaging and the lyrics. Can you talk a little bit about what what classification of music would you be? Are you a rock? Are you in rock, or are you into more indie, or what is it going to be?
Well, I
Alternative pop?
okay, I think it's a little confusing. It's a little confusing to on today's world to pick, because for example in the past there was like rock and roll, and you did rock and roll and it was very easy to point it out. I don't think it's indie music specifically, because I've heard it and it has like more high pitched sounds, and it
Hmm.
focuses a lot on having a constant melody on the back, which I don't think I do. Of course it's important in every song, but I'm not very sure on how to say it here. But indie music I think sounds different. It's more like a vibey song than a like an imponent song, if that makes sense.
Yeah, is it? Would you say it's more like like an alternative pop style?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. And I think it's alternative pop because I've seen some of Billie Eilish's music and it's
Hmm.
not like that. But I've seen like I've researched this for the longest time because of course I need to have it clear in my mind. And I think it's a lot of alternative pop because it's pop, but it mixes a lot of thing in it. For example, this song has a like a hard rock tracks, and I really like that because I'm a very 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 how can I say this, I'm a super fan of rock and I grew up listening to it.
Oh, and great question here from Juan. How is a workday for an independent artist? You are producing, you're writing, you're singing, you're recording, you're doing everything. I- I'm sure there's got to be long days, a lot of hours, blood, sweat, and tears that go into what you're doing. How hard is it? How much do you have to do?
Well, um there are harder days than others, to be honest. And I try to take some time for myself because music is very, not in a bad way, but just it's like the reality of things. Music is very time consuming because it's not just, for example, I was for the past months playing live shows.
Hmm.
I went from like April to what was last one? August. And it was like 3 4 months just playing live shows here in Panama, and that's very time consuming, just going to rehearsals with some musicians I play here, like the band I play here, my musicians, sorry. It's very time consuming because we, for example, we go to a rehearsal and we say 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., but we end up finishing the rehearsal at 10 p.m. And of course, I'm very tired, and it's just not practicing the songs, but it's practicing the performance. And of course, they can be sitting in the back, like relaxing, because they don't do like the show, because I'm like the main star of the show, and I have to be like dancing and preparing um, the performance, because you can. It's very easy to forget to move on the scenario, the things you have to do. You have to practice absolutely everything. Because if you go there and you do something out of the blue, it can go it can go south very fast. And well, for example, I think the most annoying part for me would be like legal stuff because you have to do a lot of paperwork working on the music industry, and it's not a bad thing, but of course it's the one that I like the least because I have to be like, my dad and my mom do help me with this, but of course I have to fill in all the blanks like writing, sign the papers and stuff, and I think that's the part that I like the least. But Um, on the other hand, there's the creative part where I need to be alone for this. I've had many offers from songwriters from here in Panama to songwrite with them, but I don't think I'm really interested because as of now, I want to show people my work. And I think that if I mix my creative sessions with other people, I won't perform as well as when I do alone, because for me writing it's a very personal thing. I don't really do songs that don't have a meaning behind them. Not like a song you can dance to, cause like for example, Shake It Off from Taylor Swift. I think it's a song that doesn't really have a lot of meaning behind, but I really get into stories and characters and stuff when I write. So I don't think I would perform as great writing with other people. And well, that's just like a part. I can spend a whole day writing a song. I can spend like 4 hours figuring out how I want the guitar to sound, on how I want my voice to sound, the rhymes. I have to spend a lot of time on like corrections. Of course, I have to check grammar, and since English is not my mother tongue, um, I have to be very careful with that, because the I think the biggest audience I'm gonna get it's are English speakers, or maybe not English speakers, but people who expect a lot from me and from my English. Because if I dare to make something in another language, I really have to be sure of doing something great.
Yeah,
And well, on other parts, well, it's just everything. It's for example, I have to practice singing, which I haven't had the time to do very often, and I feel a bit comfortable with my voice, just because I have been studying for the longest time. I have been studying. I've been in singing lessons all my life, but that's just another part, like a warm up. For example, if I were to sing here today, I would have to do like a 30-35 minute warm up, just to like to get the day started. And you cannot go a day you're going to perform without warming up, and you have to like be constantly pushing yourself with the exercises just for your voice to be better, because at the end of the day it's a muscle too, and it's to be trained to in order to perform well.
yeah. No disrespect to Taylor Swift, but Shake It Off. It doesn't have the impactful meaning. I think that like dopamine really has it kind of has a very deeper meaning and everything like that. So to your point, I think you have songwriters and singers who make it for they want to make it a hit, rise up in the charts really quick, and it's kind of something it's not have a lot of meaning behind it. But as a true songwriter, you really want to have your heart and your passion kind of come out in the lyrics, and then also into the music that's also kind of really delivering that message as well.
Yes, exactly. And I try to study songwriters. For example, I mentioned Shake It Up from Taylor Swift, but I think she's a great, great,
Yes.
amazing lyricist, because she has this album. I don't listen to a lot of Taylor Swift, but on TikTok, I've seen like they upload these short videos with random movie scenes with the lyrics of some songwriters. And I've seen that her folklore album has just the deepest lyrics. And I think for people like her, sometimes it's not them but their record label, or the people they work with, that they say like you need to have like a hit song that has like 3 words in the chorus for people to sing along, and that's it. You cannot show your songwriting skills here, because it's not the place to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's what is so um, very exciting about your path forward is that you're pursuing this as an independent artist. So a follow up question that your father asks is, how many people are involved in the production of your music?
Well, I see it as a whole uh, uh, teamwork, because for example, when I write by myself. I've never actually well, there was this time frame where I was in a music school, and we had like a job to do a do make perform had to we had to form a band with other people, but that was never like a real thing. We would be together for like 8 weeks, something like that, and we performed the cover or the song we created, but there was never anything real about it. It never came out of the school. It was just like the project you needed to graduate. Um, And for example, when I write, I write by myself, right? And I send it to the producer. I send it to the producer, and then he listens to it, and then he produces the whole thing. Like he, because I write the song and the lyrics and the melody in my songs, and he has the job to like add the bass and add some piano and stuff like that, like something to give a body, a more compact body to the song. And then it comes the person who makes the master, which this is the person who regulates the volume and everything. And the other person is a sound engineer, and sometimes he has like an assistant to have some like some fixes in the studio. And then it comes the people who do photography, which is usually 2 to 3 people in the session who do photography. There is involved the people who do the marketing, who are working with me in the marketing. There's the graphic designer. Who else? Ah, well, for the video production, there was an 8 people crew where we were filming, and it was really amazing. So I think it's really like a puzzle. When you're a musician, you have to work with a lot of people to in order to take your song or your work to the best to the sweet spot, to say it like that, to the best place where it can get. And just because art has a lot of ways and a lot of languages, and it's easy when you focus so much on a thing. For example, I know the video director would not write a song as well as me, just because he's not a songwriter, he's a video director, and vice versa. And for example, with the photographer, I wouldn't take as amazing pictures as he does because he's the photographer, and he wouldn't be able to write like me. And I think that's something you have to accept, because sometimes independent artists, like, we have to do most things by ourselves. For example, with a record label, it would be like, you have this crew of these people, and this is the people who work with you, and we are assigning them to you. But as an independent artist, you have to, or look for them, like actively be on Instagram, stalk their profiles and stuff, and you have to do everything. But sometimes independent artists like get offended, because when there's the time where you have to, oh, I don't know this word in English, when you have to say someone to do this job that needs your project needs, people can get offended and they get upset, because why am I not doing everything that this project involves, and someone has to put their hands on it. But honestly, it's just like accepting that you have your job in your project and other people have their jobs to help your project. And well, I think it's like easy. There could be like 15 people involved in the music video, the production, the marketing of it, the graphic design of it, everything. It's just a whole.
Yeah, very, very busy days indeed. So Nelson asks a really good question. Do you think you found your music style? Are you willing to experiment with other styles or different instruments? You've already
Well,
done the ukulele.
yes, but I didn't include it on my EP,
Hmm.
because I think it doesn't represent me anymore. For example, I think it represented very well the style and the voice that 13-year-old Sofia had. But when I found myself again in the guitar, because I had started classes very little and then I quit and then I started again, um, I found myself more in the depth of the guitar sound than the ukulele. For example, I try to play ukulele now, and of course I know the chords and stuff, but it doesn't fit my voice, because my voice is deeper. My voice has gotten deeper and it fits me better. And I think I found more like the things I want to go for, and it's easier for me to find things that I want to put into my music. I have studied a lot of songwriters, and I know specifically, for example, when there's this song production, you have to bring like references into the studio, unless you do your own track. For example, if I record something with GarageBand, let's say, and I bring that to the studio, of course the producer has a reference. But if I don't have that, I have to bring some references of some other songwriters out there. And for example, it's not like a copy paste kind of thing, but it's more like, I want something like this. and that's something hard to do. For example, there would be like synths in the song, which are like this. For example, music in the 80s had these um, references in their songs that would be like it's like pianos, but in a very it's the style is called a synthwave. And in Dopamine, that's the first cut. It wouldn't be like cut, but the first separation from verse one to chorus is like that has like an 80s reference, and I really like that. And I wanted to get that too because it's something different. I'm mixing rock with a kind of synth wave, and I think that's really cool. Mixing things in my head, it's really cool. And since I have a lot of influences, because I like flamenco music, I like 50s and 60s music, I like romantic music, I like ballads. I like some bossa nova too. I have a lot of influences in my music, and I think I'm very creative and I know how to put them together very well. And I think I found what I like, but I've never thought about quitting on experimenting on other things. I would really like to do some other things, like maybe in the style I'm in, but with other influences, like putting new things, because I wouldn't like to my albums or my music to sound all the same. I've heard albums where, okay, I know you're developing this idea, but everything sounds the same. And I think that's boring. So I would like to my albums and my music in general to be um, very different each song. I really like that just because I can experiment and I can learn from that as well. For example, if I get in flamenco production, I can really learn a lot about that style specifically, and it's different to a rock style. And well, yeah, I think I found somewhat what I want to do, and I feel very comfortable with the EP. But of course, I want to develop new things as I grew older.
Yeah. And Nelson sets me up for my next part of the interview with you is talking about, where do you see yourself in just let's say 5 years. Let's keep it a shorter term. Let's say 5 years from now. What's the future for Sophia?
Well, I've seen artists and their path, their career in 5 years, and it's amazing. For example, someone I really follow, it's Billie Eilish, and for example, she has like 7, 8 years in music, but the first 5 years of her life were the most active, I think, because she had to be putting a lot of music out and doing live shows. And I would like to see myself where the point to the point where she is right now, where she's like filling up arenas and stadiums, and that's like insane. And I would love to get that. And I think I don't see myself living in Panama in the next 5 years, just because in Panama there's not many people. For example, you wouldn't be able to do like um, 20,000 people festival because not everyone likes that here. But I think in other places, people just appreciate music more, appreciate these kind of festivals and things more. And I think I'd like to move. I've seen some universities, for example, in the UK, and I think I would like to go there for some time to try with music. And I'd like to learn a lot more about production myself, just because I want to be like a professional producer. Sorry, when I'm older. But of course, I have to learn a lot before I can do that. And I'd like to see myself in 5 years filling arenas and stuff like that. I think it would be great. But I have to start with smaller venues just because I'm starting.
Yeah, to your future dream, your mother points out, about the experience that you've gained, working on, not only dopamine but the release of the EP and other, music that you've done. So you have a lot of experience that you're building right now, so that when you do go that path, if you're looking to be a singer songwriter and a producer and get involved in that, you have a good start right now, and you're only 18 years old.
Yes, yes. Well, I read the question there. Actually, the first time I went into the studio was a kind of overwhelming. That was the overwhelming experience, just because it was something new and I wanted to do really well the first time I went there. But of course, when you're stressed, you don't perform as well as when you're relaxed. And well, the first time I really got overwhelmed, and it was a very stressful day for me. And it was on the Dopamine's recording day. That was a very stressful day for me, and I had to take a moment for myself. And I was like, can we take a 5 minute break? And I just went to the bathroom, and I just like look at myself in the mirror, and I was like, relax, chill, everything's gonna go great. And the second time, and the third, and the fourth time I went into the studio, it was just way smoother, because I had the chance to allow myself more to, okay, this doesn't really have to be perfect. And if something doesn't come out perfect, you don't need to stress, because we can record something again. We can take another, the audio engineer can do something for you there. He can, like, okay, sing the part again. Boop, and
Yeah.
it would be over.
Yeah, and Gunnar asks a really good question here. You know, both your parents are from an industrial type of background. Your mother was involved in, and still probably still involved with, travel agency, but she works a lot with your father doing,
Yeah.
protective codes inspection and that type of work. They're not musicians. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard your mother sing, but your dad does not sing very well. I can tell you that. You know, what kind of support have both of your parents and really your whole family, what support have they been giving you on your career?
Well, I've always told my parents that I don't like so much know what they do, because it's not like it's a bad thing. I know it's an awesome thing what they work on, but it's not my thing. And they have always accepted that. Just they have always helped me embrace the musician in me, just because they know that I like what I do. And I've never had with my parents a moment where they tell me, no, you can't do music. It has never been. And I know that's a thing for a lot of people in the world. I have friends who are also doing music, and their parents do not support them, do not want to buy them a guitar, do not want to go with them to the live shows. But I've never had my parents not go to a single one of my shows. It will have to be like a life or death situation for them not to go, because they like supporting me, because it's what I do, and it's what I like to do, and it's what I've been training myself to do for, well, not myself, but in classes and stuff. But it's what I've been pushing myself to do for the longest time. And I think they also support me, because they have seen that dedication. I think because I've done a lot of things in my life. I've done, for example, gymnastics, I've done skateboarding, I've done painting and drawing and stuff, but they never see that kind of commitment that I have with music. And I think it has affected the way my career began, just because they support me so much, and they take me everywhere. And if I tell them that I need a new whatever thing I need, he goes with me to the music shop, and he goes with me, and he himself and my mom too, they investigate, they research whatever I need. For example, with the music publishers and stuff, they really help me a whole lot on that, because it's, as you said, it's something very like strange to them. I think they've never thought of being a professional musician, because they both are in careers that are completely different to musicians, but they really support me a lot, and I think that has helped me too. And they always tell me to never stop, to never stop, to never stop, because there would be my moment to shine. And of course, I would get discouraged when it didn't happen when I was 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, that, 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 that. But the moment has come, and I think people has had a very positive reception just to my professional works, and that's great. I think that has pushed me to, not push me, but impulse me. I think that's is that the correct way to say it in English?
Yeah, that's a great way to say it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think that has impulsed me a lot to keep working as a musician, just because I can now see the potential in myself, which sometimes I think parents kill that for their children, because they do not want them to. Since I'm a doctor, you have to be a doctor. You cannot be a musician, or you cannot be an engineer, because I'm a doctor. And I think that's not a good thing to do. And I want to support my kids when that time comes, which I think it's not coming any sooner than 30. But I want to support my kids when I have them the same way my parents are doing it with me on music, just because I have seen how that has helped me as a musician to grow. And it's very important just to support the people around you. And I think it's mostly my parents. My the rest of my family, of course, they see that, but they are seeing it more now. And of course, I have like some, for example, some, that people who's like your family, but it's very far away and they never interact with you. I've had people like that, and of course, like old friends and people I've had disagreements with, like text me, "Oh, your music video is amazing" and stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, thank you," but it's not like I see it, because I've had, of course, this period where I was doing live shows and stuff, and I was songwriting, and people like that didn't support me back then, but they are doing it now, and like I see people like that posting stories, and it's like, why are you doing it now? But it's mostly my parents that support me and a few couple friends. But yeah, I think my parents have helped me a lot just developing as a musician because of their support.
Well, they know your potential. They see it. Myself, I think you're going to catch lightning in a bottle. I really see a great opportunity. You have a beautiful voice, and I think the music, like I say, the lyrics and also the sounds of the songs were really what. And you and I've actually we did a live stream. Well, we did a recording related to earlier releases that you did over a year ago, and even those songs were powerful, and you were still kind of really trying to figure out who you were.
Yes.
And now you've come full circle with everything kind of leading to this point. And I think that's great to have that support of your parents and friends and family, and now all the supporters that you're going to be gaining through the release of your song. Before we wrap up this live stream and how people can get in contact with you and follow you and everything like that, there might have been some people who just jumped onto the live stream late. Sophia, I'm going to play the video one more time, the music video,
Yes,
okay?
sure.
And I'll just have us up on the side here.
Yes.
It was a summer evening. We did a thing or two. Had this bummer feeling when I saw you. I never planned this whole thing, but then I fell for you. Oh, you always hurt me, but I still need you. 'Cause every time I take you in, you drag me down. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave. I don't know where I stand. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave. I don't know where I stand. I always end up eating all your golden flies, and just by breathing your own crime, you drag my soul in your strength. What I felt was true, and you always hurt me, but I still need you. 'Cause every time I take you in, you drag me down. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave. I don't know where I stand. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave. I don't know where I stand. Cause every time I get to forget you, come every Sunday and fuck with my head. Cause every time I get to forget you, come every Sunday and fuck with my head. 'Cause every time I take you in, you drag me down. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave. I don't know where I stand. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave. I don't know where I stand. My skin's burning for the touch of your hand. I can't leave. I don't know where I stand. No, yeah.
Wonderful. So another question, are you 100% dedicated to music, or do you share other activities at the same time?
Honestly, I'm currently 100% dedicated to music because, as I said before, it's very time consuming, and I don't think I could be. For example, I'm taking a leap year on university just because it's taking a lot of me, and I think it's very important to be 100% committed to what I'm doing now. Because if I went 7 hours to the university a day, or if I did some other activities, I wouldn't have the time to write, to do all the paperwork that I have to do, to interact with people the way I have to. I have to be doing like photo shoots and stuff very often, and I don't think I will have the time to do everything. And I would not be 100% into music if I were doing other stuff. So, yes, I'm 100% dedicated to music right now. But I do plan on doing other things later on.
Yeah, 'cause the second part, with the question, how do you, as a young girl, how do you manage your time to develop your music? I mean, it's obviously a lot of, you know, time invested, everything like that. So, are you able to find the time, or do you get to a point where once you kind of get into a system, it just becomes something you just kind of repeat?
Well, I think I'm not the like most routine stuck person ever. So for me, I have to do like a lot of different things every day, and sometimes I do struggle with finding time to relax. For the release day, I spent more than 24 hours without sleeping because I had to do a lot of things, because there was like a problem with the platform, and I woke up at like 1 a.m. and I was awake till 9 p.m. where it was the release, and after that I felt like a rock on my bed. It was just like this. I fell asleep very fast. And well, can I see the question again? There was a second part, but
Sure.
I don't remember. Sorry. Well, and to develop this music genre that requires a lot of discipline and dedication, I think it's just like this switch in my mindset. It was not like something just for fun, but it's a career, and it's something people my age don't understand that much. And people often tell me like, why don't you come to us like clubbing and stuff? And of course, it's not like I don't want to leave that kind of thing at 18, but I really feel like what I'm doing is far more important than going clubbing at like to 4 a.m. every day, and that's not something I want to waste my time on. I want to invest my time in doing like productive stuff, and I think this is gonna pay um, just on what I do. And I don't mean money wise, just like the recognition I want to get. I think it's gonna pay very well on a near future, because I see people I know that do have this lifestyle of drinking, partying with friends and stuff every day, and just going to university. And I see it, and I don't like where they're standing because they are stuck, and they come to me and they tell me, no, but I feel stuck on what I'm doing. I don't feel like myself. And I don't tell them anything, not to be mean, but of course in my mind I have like this idea of, well, do something for yourself. That's why I don't waste my time like that. But of course, I do find some time. I went out like a month ago, like that with friends. But yeah, it's just a lot of hard work, and I don't see it as a bad thing. I don't. It's not like I don't enjoy what I do. Sometimes it's a bit heavy, yes, and with all the paperwork and stuff, but I do enjoy what I do a lot. So I think when you're dedicated and committed to something and you really like it, you don't even mind the hard part of it, because it's what you like to do, and everything has a good part and a bad part, or like the backstage part, the behind the curtain part that you have to fix for yourself. But I think I really like it, and I do try to find some time for myself. But it's a bit hard to keep up with everything you have to do as an independent artist. but I try hard, and I think I'm doing well.
So how can everyone support you? How can they follow you? How can they be connected to you?
Well, I'm on every social platform as Sofia Lovag, Louvag. You can find me there. Does everyone see the chat that we have here?
They I've been bringing up the chat. Yes.
Okay, how can I? Because it here it says private chat.
Maybe Juan, if you want to put the website, Juan, if you could go ahead and post
Yes.
that up and send a
Oh well,
message.
yeah. You can. I completely forgotten about it. I have this.
We'll get your dad to do that.
Yes, thank you. I have this website where you can find everything. You can find my biography. You can
Yeah.
find some photos there. You can find the links to everywhere. And well, you can find me, as I said, Sofia Lovag, everywhere. But I'm most active on Instagram. That's where I post like about the shows, about the music that's coming, and that's where I'm more active. So yeah, and well, you can see the music video on YouTube, and you can listen to Dopamine on every platform out there.
Yeah, and I believe here comes the website now. I believe the your YouTube channel is Sofia Lovag at I'm sorry, it's at your name.
Yes, yes.
Yes. And there, what I would recommend everybody to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification so when anything comes up. That's how I got the notification about the release of the music video.
Yes.
And I made sure that I did like that as well. So everyone like it because it helps the algorithm. And then also following Sophia on Instagram. And, even if you Google Sophia Lavag, Lavag, I'm sorry, you will see a lot of posts for you. The song is available on Spotify, Apple,
Yes,
and
yes.
YouTube Music as well. Anything else?
Um, I don't have the paper right now, but it's
Oh,
in
that's
more
okay.
than it's more than 28 platforms. It's on Spotify where you can follow me, and that would help me a lot too, because you would be, for example, if I have a new release, which I will have soon, um, you can see it before everyone. There's on YouTube Music, normal YouTube, um, Spotify, Deezer, Tidal, Apple Music, iTunes. It's everywhere. Amazon Music. It's everywhere. It's really everywhere you can imagine.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so, everyone, make sure that you follow Sophia, like and share her music video, get that song into your playlist, no matter what platform you're on, and look forward to the next. When is the next song or the EP releasing?
Well, the Holy P has like have this idea where I'm gonna be releasing a few singles before showing like the Holy P, because the Holy P will have a different cover art and stuff, which I'm working on right now. But I think the next release, I cannot tell you like a specific date because it has a lot of process behind it, but it will be this year as
This
well.
year. Okay. Wonderful. Sophia, now that we're at the end of our live stream here, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you would want to leave with the viewers and your fans?
Mm, I think just my message for anyone watching is just to do what you like and to dedicate yourself 100%. I know that probably here I have some professional people that do every day their thing, and they went through what I went through like some time ago. But if anyone my age is watching, if someone from like someone I know got here, it's just like keep pursuing what you do, because you can go a lot of places with it, and just don't be afraid of knocking doors and writing messages people don't reply to. Just be in your thing and just flow with it, because it's amazing when you get your own chance to shine.
Oh, that's great advice. Okay, everyone, I appreciate this opportunity to have a live stream with everyone here on Sunday and having Sophia on and just, kind of helping to celebrate her musical journey and also to the launch of an amazing, I know it's going to be an amazing career. I can just feel it.
Thank you.
I think I sensed that when you were, even younger and you were performing and you were also singing and, just to see how much passion and commitment you have into your music. So, Sophia, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim, for inviting me today. It has been a great talk, and I am still very glad to be able to be here. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you everyone for connecting with us today and being just with us today in this live stream.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye bye.